Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. I found some interesting drama Reddit stories on the internet, and so I want to read them to you. And while I do read that, there's Minecraft gameplay in the background, so enjoy. Here we go. First story. The title is Found Out She Was Cheating. A little backstory. We were together for 13 to 14 years. We broke up. I asked if she cheated. She said no. That she signed up for Ashley Madison but deleted the next day. We got back together and got married just recently. Something has been off, and I've been trying to figure it out. So tonight my wife had too much to drink. She gets frisky when she drinks. We're doing what you do when you get frisky, and she calls me Scott. That's not my name. I asked her, who's Scott? Drunkenly, she tells me he's a guy she's been with. I asked how long, and if it was before we broke up. She fell asleep before I could ask more questions, so I went through her phone. She can do this to my phone at any time. I found out they were having sex for at least a year before we broke up. Looking at the messages, he's been in contact with her in the last week. My problem is when we got back together, we agreed to be 100% honest with each other. We've slept with other people, but we always talk about it first. And the only way we can cheat is if we don't tell each other about it. I'm confronting her tomorrow about it. I wanted to be able to work between us, but if she lies, I don't know what I do. Damn. Yeah, I'd just leave and move on. In my 21 years of experience in this life, just that's horrible. Just move on, bro. Now the next story, the second story. The title is, Am I the asshole for not coming to terms with the fact that my wife cheated on me 14 years ago before our marriage? I, 35M, which means 35-year-old man, I'm married to my wife, 37F, for 11 years and together for 14. We have a beautiful 7-year-old daughter, and our marriage has been great without any major problems until last year. Last year, I learned that my wife cheated on me before our marriage. One of her friends became religious and confessed her actions to me, which had me confronting my wife. She was shocked that I learned it and apologized profusely about her actions. However, she said it's not something important now because we have been going strong and have a family together. She told me I should come to terms with it since it happened 4 months into being exclusive and she was stupid girl out of college back then. My mind told me the same. It happened 14 years ago and we are happy right now. I decided to forgive her and continue our usual life. Reality was not that great. My mental took a big hit. I realized it's not something that happened 14 years ago for me. The cheating happened for me when my wife confirmed it. I was less confident. I could not have sex with my wife. I just could not get an erection for her. Goddamn, that is TMI, but fair enough. This turned into feeling being disgusted around her. I even took a DNA test and STD test secretly. Thankfully, our daughter is mine and I am clear of STDs. Then a year of intense individual therapy started for me. I realized I needed to change somehow. I was not the same person I used to be. I also communicated my feelings to my wife, and after pushing a bit, we started going to couples counseling too. However, at the end of everything, I decided to proceed with a divorce. Here's my reasoning. She not only cheated back then, but lied to me for 14 years. She did not confess the action herself. Even though she apologized, she dismissed the action by saying it's not that important anymore. Young me was robbed of having a choice. Cheating was and still is one of the biggest deal breakers for me. If I knew it back then, I would have broke it off. I am happy with my life, and I am glad that our daughter came to this world. She's the light that shines the brightest for me. One of the biggest reasons I keep living, but I still was robbed of a choice back then. Our bed life is basically dead for me. We do have fun, but I feel like those women on film/series that just lay and look at the ceiling waiting for it to be over. The only difference is that I'm a man. I do not even want a non-sexual gesture anymore. Last week I had a sit down with my wife and explained everything. I wrote here in detail my feelings, reasonings, and some other private things. I have been talking to a lawyer for the last month and papers are almost finalized. 50-50 custody, 50-50 assets sharing, and amicable as possible. I explained everything through and clearly to her. She freaked out and had a panic attack. We went to the ER that night. She's begging me to reconsider and not throw away 14 years. However, even though I would like to stay, it will result in us being roommates and broken family environment for our daughter. Am I in the wrong here? I feel like you're not an asshole, but at the same time, you should take care of your family. It's, you've changed because of what you've heard and what you've found out, girl, but it's still the same family that you've had for 14 years or 11, or how old was the daughter? I don't remember. Thing is though, I see that you've mentioned you've tried everything to make it work and it just doesn't. So you're in a really bad situation. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm shocked. I don't know how we're gonna top that last story, but here's the third story. Title is Cheated on My Wife for Years and I Have No Regrets. Kind of. Okay, we already might have a worthy opponent to the last one. This was a previous relationship. We were together about 6 years. Everything started off great, as it always does. After being together for some years, we ended up in a very toxic relationship. We were both to blame for how we treated each other. There came a point where we didn't have sex much at all. In my point of view, a lot of it was both of us dealing with depression at the same time. She was a borderline alcoholic, damn, whoa, yeesh, and I was a workaholic, bro, leave her, what the hell, who was barely at home. Also, she had a lot of body insecurity issues that I was kind of getting tired of dealing with. I thought she looked great from the day we met. It became draining to have her always think she's ugly or doesn't have a great body. At this time, I had no idea about therapy and mental health, etc. It just wasn't something my environment in my youth found acceptable. Same for when I became an adult. If I would have been in therapy, I imagine our relationship would have ended earlier. But to this point, I was still faithful, doing my best to make it work. We ended up having a baby, who is the best thing in the world. I don't think that was a good idea. Anyways, I keep interrupting, I'm sorry. After she went through a postpartum issue, we tried to reconnect and make our relationship better. However, there became a point where I was depressed enough that having sex was something I just couldn't do. There was one night where she sexually abused me. She woke me up in the middle of the night to have sex. I repeatedly said no. She wouldn't stop. I'm not going into any details anymore because that is way too traumatic for me to relive. By the way, anytime this was talked about, she felt like it was completely consensual and that men cannot be victims of sexual abuse. From that point on, I wouldn't sleep in the same bed. I wanted to leave, but the thought of not seeing my child every day was heartbreaking. So to keep my shit together, I started cheating with everyone I could. Goddamn, I mean, I wanted anyone that would fill the void of intimacy and feeling in control of myself. I slept with people I met online, at happy hour, even some of her friends. All of it was super shitty on my part. My rationale was I could go home and be amicable with her while we raise our kid because the endomorphins from sleeping with other women let me feel happy when around her. Eventually, I was in a relationship with another woman that lasted about 3 months. She figured out I was cheating when I left my phone unlocked one day. At that point, she thought it was only one person. I lied big time about only sleeping with one person. We ended up in a couples counseling. Should have done that years ago. Eventually, at her request, I told her about everyone I slept with. I also started seeing my own therapist. Being in therapy helped me realize why I cheated, and I learned a lot about myself. There was a lot of work done to change my outlook on life, etc. Honestly, wish everyone could be in therapy. It helped me so much. Eventually, my growth from couples counseling and individual therapy led me to have enough clarity about myself and our relationship that I decided to end it. It was tough working out how to reconcile not seeing my kids every day, but I knew in order to give them my best, I needed to be out of a bad relationship. I didn't want them to see our dysfunctional relationship as a model for their childhood. After I moved out only about 15 minutes away, she tried to get me back to move back and start our relationship back up. I refused. Since I didn't come back to the relationship, she left me in the middle of the night and moved across the country with my kid. Since we were married and hadn't filed any divorce papers, she is able to use a legal loophole and take my kids without my consent. Fast forward, I'm in a good place with my kid, and after continued self-work, was able to start a relationship with someone great. We exist in an environment of open honesty, empathy, and love. And yes, I told her all about my shitty things that I did and used to do. So to anyone that is cheating and reads this, please look into therapy and get yourself figured out. You're doing a bad thing, but it's not totally of your existence. It's not, I don't know what that word means. Right your wrongs and find peace. This was the loudest TLDR cliff notes of a terrible relationship made worse by sleeping around. I feel like the guy is very in the wrong for cheating, but at the same time, if the relationship is that insufferable, kind of fair. Also, you should have broken up with her after she assaulted you. That's a charge, I believe, no? Then again, innocent until proven guilty. Also, alcoholic, hello? Are we forgetting that? Like, I would have been gone in seconds. Okay, next story. Honestly, I lost count and I didn't mark anything in editing, so I'm sorry. I'll try my best after. My wife just told me that she had a brief affair 4 years ago. Date, May 22nd, 2022. My wife, Kara, and I have been married for almost 8 years. A couple of years into our marriage, we decided we wanted kids and started trying for. After not conceiving for over a year, we had ourselves checked out and I found out that I'm sterile. This came as a massive blow because we've always wanted children. It was a very dark time for me. I was very miserable and threw myself at work. I drank a lot and wasn't at home very much. I wasn't a good husband or partner to Kara. This went on for around 6 months. Kara tried to help me for months, but after some time she stopped. I eventually managed to get out of that slump. Kara and I spent a lot of time working on our relationship after that, and I thought we came back out stronger. We had a lot of discussion and decided to adopt children. We adopted 2 kids. I thought we had a good marriage. Recently, one of Kara's good friends died in an accident. Kara has been acting very strangely since then, but I chalked it up to grief and have tried to help her. Yesterday, we sent our kids to my parents for the weekend. Kara told me about her affair after we had dinner. This is what she told me. When I was in my miserable phase, she was miserable too. She was devastated that we couldn't have children and started talking to a female co-worker about it because I wasn't available. As I started withdrawing, Kara started relying on her more and more. A few weeks in, Kara started spending more time with her. One weekend they got drunk and had sex. Whoa, so, okay. This went on for over 2 months until Kara decided to break it off. Kara had proof that the affair was only under 3 months. She saved all the messages from when it started when she ended it. Kara showed them to me and her coworker begged her to leave me in those messages. Kara stopped contact with that coworker and even left that job at the time to break it off completely. Kara told me that she rethought her life when her close friend died and didn't want to hide it from me anymore. I'm feeling devastated right now. She lied to me for 4 years. We adopted kids. I haven't been able to function all day. I told her that I needed to think and that I didn't want to talk to her. I've been in the guest bedroom all day and can't think straight. What should I do now? How should I proceed? Date, May 27th, 2022. Firstly, I want to thank all the commenters who gave advice on my original post. I got some DMs about my Kara sleeping with a woman. Both Kara and I are bisexual. She's had a girlfriend and I've had boyfriends before. We got married. Her interest in women is not news to me. After my post, we told my parents we were having problems and I asked them to keep the kids for the week. I was still angry at Kara. I told her I wasn't ready to talk about the affair and stuff before this happened. Kara and I used to do a lot of stuff together. We cooked together, exercised together, and played video games together. That is the best thing. These were usually the highlights of my day and we started doing those things again. As the week progressed, it dawned on me how much I'd miss her and our companionship if we split. She was my best friend and the person I relied on the most. After a few days, we finally sat down and talked. I asked her why she kept the messages and Kara told me that she did it because she wanted to have proof that the affair was brief and that she ended it. Kara told me that she realized that life was short and could end any time when her friend died, and she didn't want to die with regret and guilt, so she told me. I didn't want to lose our partnership that I treasured without at least giving it a chance, so we're going to see a marriage counselor and I'm going to individual therapy. Kara is a great partner, an extremely fun person to be around, and my driving force. I still haven't forgiven her for hiding the affair from me for 4 years, and I told her that I'm more pissed off at her hiding it from me than the actual affair. I made it clear to her that I might not be able to forgive her and that we might split in the end, but that I was willing to try because I love her and our partnership. This is tough because the wife cheated, but if you love her and if it's for one time, if you can't live without her, maybe forgive her. Okay. And since she was like noble about it, okay. If that ever happens again, split the instant it happens. They're like, yeah. Nothing else to comment on this, really. Okay, I found out. This is the 5th story. The title is I Got Both Sides of a Cheating Story. At my first job out of college, I became quick friends with another guy, Scott, 3 years older than me. We would pal around hitting the bars and such in town. I don't know what that means. As we opened up more to each other, he told me about how his last girlfriend, Jody, cheated on him. He shared after she broke up with him, he was heartbroken. Couldn't eat or sleep, felt that constant anxiety about it. I had a similar experience with my first girlfriend when she broke it off with me. Jody worked at the same place as us, but in a different building. She was the daughter of a prominent figure in town, and her family really liked Scott. They dated for a little over a year, and he thought she was the one until a week before Christmas when she abruptly and without warning broke up with him. It took Scott a long time to get over her, and that was compounded by the fact that it came out she was pregnant that following spring. When the child was born, Scott figured out that she had to have gotten pregnant about 4 weeks at most after the breakup. She quickly married the guy, and they are actually still together to this day. With a second child. Years started ticking, and over that span I met my wife, got engaged, married. She took a job for a year, then switched to where I worked. My wife, Emma, works with Jody directly, and they became quick friends. Scott and I started hanging out less and less as I got more involved with Emma and started spending more weekends with her. Emma isn't shy and asked about Jody's relationship with Scott. Jody stated that while initially the relationship was good, as time passed, Scott had more and more red flags. First, he was really immature for 25 years old. He seemed to want to still live a college life. He liked to go out drinking a lot, but always had too much and would piss to bed in his sleep. He didn't really have any plans for a future and had a lot of deep, bigoted opinions. He also didn't put a lot of effort into the relationship, like dates, communication, etc. She was pretty much over it months before finally ending it. She would bring up concerns and he would always play victim, guilt trip her, all while her family thought he was just great. Would kind of dismiss her concerns if she talked to them about Scott. Jody said her family didn't hide the fact that they were upset she broke up with him. Finally, she had enough, knew she had to end it. Take her last things and go. She needed to be quick and stern and not show emotion, or she would just get guilted into staying. And that's what she did in December. Not wanting to just sit around wallowing, she took a friend up on an invite to a New Year's Eve party where she met a guy, Carter. They exchanged info that night and had their first official date that week. When Jody started puberty in middle school, she had horrible menstrual symptoms and had been taken to the specialist. Managed to get her symptoms under control, but through the test discovered she did have a reproductive tissue. The doctors told her and her parents then that it would be extremely unlikely that she will ever conceive naturally. Jody, always thinking she was sterile, admitted to Emma she wasn't the best at using protection and never had been on birth control. Her and Carter's relationship turned sexual almost immediately, and because of Jody's belief they didn't use any form of contraception, and she got pregnant against the odds. They took that whirlwind situation and got married right away as well. 3 years later they tried and had a second baby without much effort, making her question if she really had these complications at all. I'm thankful that she hadn't accidentally got pregnant in high school or college. Up to the point he moved away, Scott avoided Jody like she was plague. He always believed she had been cheating and that's why she broke up with him. He never once talked about their relationship as having any issues or problems. I had to admit I did agree with Jody's assessments of immaturity over our time as friends. I saw that Scott really didn't seem to ever want to grow up. Even with his wife, after a couple of years of dating, his first grand gesture was to buy her a promise ring like they were in high school, sophomores, and he was in his 30s by this point. We're all in our 40s now. Scott moved away to his hometown and finally married his now wife. They have 3 kids. A few years later, Emma and I moved on. Jody and her husband still live in the same place. I always think of this story when I hang out with the relationship threads on Reddit because you only ever get one side of a story. How many are as vastly different as this one once you get the other side of them? God, this confused me. I hope you guys understood it. That's kind of crazy, and I guess fair enough. Yeah, here we go. Here's the 6th story. Title is, I can't get rid of the baseless paranoia that my girlfriend is cheating on me. Me, 28 male, and my girlfriend, 26, Emery, together for more than 6 years, and she is the best thing that has happened to me in my life. She's kind, caring, gentle, the complete opposite of me. We get along very well. We love each other very much. Before her, I had a lot of casual relationships and she had only one serious relationship. We both work from home. We have 2 cats and one chihuahua. Now about the main thing. I recently registered on Reddit and it was the worst mistake. A bunch of stories about cheating fell on me, each worse than the previous one. I started to have severe paranoia. Emery is cheating on me. She has never called me. I doubted her. We have full access to each other's phones and we often use each other's phones. But the thought that another man touches my baby made me furious. I've read more and more about cheating. I was especially influenced by comments like all women are like that. It's as their nature. And all women are polygamous and in general selfish hypocrites. It completely distorted my worldview. I don't know a single cheating girl. All my friends are happy in relationships and have never been cheated on. But my paranoia won over common sense. Hadn't heard of these stories. I became distant, which Emery quickly noticed and asked what's wrong. I got angry and yelled at her, which made her cry. We fight a lot, but rarely seriously. Lately, I changed, but I still think she's cheating on me. This is killing me. Man, I'd say get over it. It's if you don't trust your partner, then what the fuck? What's happening? Like, why not? Has she cheated on you? No. Do you have proof that she's gonna? No. Why do you think she's gonna? Don't be blind, of course. But like, man, yeah, I don't know. Stop reading Reddit stories if you have to. You're just shooting yourself in the foot at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, have a good day.